So Oppo said, we'll make the thinnest foldable out there and you're going to be impressed. Well, here is the Oppo Find N5, and I've got to say, this puts every other foldable on the market to the test, especially the Galaxy Z Fold series. So let's go ahead and see how they stack up against each other. Hey guys, Thunder E here, and today we're checking out the Oppo Find N5 and we're going to compare it against the Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition. Not the Z Fold 6, because that is the thinner Z Fold and also has the better specs overall. But before we get into that, let's take a look at this little beauty here. So the Oppo Find N5 is a device I would call just super thin. Now, the thinness or the thickness, if you will, of the device when it's closed is 8.92 millimeters. Now, compare that to the Z Fold 6, that's 12.1. Now, if you compare that to the Z Fold Special Edition, that's 10.1. So again, you can see this is still 2 millimeters thinner than both devices, which is impressive. Compared to, say, your iPhone, using Oppo's own charts, iPhone's about just a few short hairs thinner than this device, the iPhone 16 Pro Max, which is impressive to find a foldable this thin. And Oppo has stacked this with a lot of specs and features. So the cover display here is a 6.62 inch cover display, 120 Hertz. It looks definitely wider, but don't be fooled. It's literally the same width as the Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition, with the Oppo just a hair taller because of course it is 6.62 compared to 6.5. That being said, when this device opens up, it opens up to a lovely 8.1 inch display. It's gorgeous, it's massive. It's also 120 Hertz display. Now, in comparison to what we have with the Z Fold Special Edition, which is an 8-inch display, again, slightly bigger and also just a little bit wider for all intents and purposes. Now, in terms of maximum nit brightness, you're looking at 2400 nits for the Oppo Find N5, and you have 2600 for the Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition. So the Galaxy is brighter here. Now, the one benefit the Oppo does have is that it does have a traditional built-in camera in the internal display. The Galaxy has, of course, that, on the display camera, which doesn't work as well. That's just hands down the truth. When we look at just the design, how thin this is truly the first device that you can honestly say they could not put a headphone jack into, and that's the truth. None of this crap we've heard from other companies, doesn't matter what company, but truly this device is that thin. Now, opening up the device, you even have such a nice flawless hinge, which makes for just a really nice slim design overall. The funny thing about the Oppo is that if you actually put on the case on this device, it's still slightly thinner than the Z Fold Special Edition. When we go to the back, we do have for that traditional camera housing with the Hasselblad logo here. Of course, Hasselblad tuning for the camera. We have a 50 megapixel main sensor, 50 megapixel telephoto, and an 8 megapixel ultra wide. Now, of course, how does this stack against the Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition? Well, it's a bit different here because Samsung has a few differences up its sleeve. The main sensor is a 200 megapixel sensor with a 10 megapixel telephoto and a 12 megapixel ultra wide. So in terms of the cameras, we're having some very distinct differences here, but I'll take some photos so you guys can take a look and you judge for yourself who has the better imagery here overall. Cameras aside, what else differs from both devices? Battery. The Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition comes with a 4400 milliamp battery, and we thought, wow, that is pretty nice. It's not full 5000, but we can do well with it. Nah, come on, Samsung. We need to do better, because the Oppo Find N5 comes with a 5600 milliamp battery. Yes, in this smaller size form factor, there is a bigger battery here, which is truly impressive. Not just 5000 milliamp, 5600. So this should give you some much longer battery life, which is truly impressive to see, and also just, again, better performance overall. Plus, this comes with 80-watt SuperVOOC wired charging and 50-watt SuperVOOC fast charging, compared to what we have with the Galaxy, which is 45 watts wired charging and 25 watts wireless charging. So again, not as fast as we'll like. This is where, of course, the Oppo wins. So it's thinner, it's lighter, it's got a bigger battery, longer battery life compared to what we have with the Galaxy. Now, what about performance? This, I'll give some leniency to the Galaxy because the Galaxy comes with an older processor. It's a device from last year. The Z Fold Special Edition comes with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, a great processor. But the Oppo Find N5 comes with the Snapdragon 8 Elite for foldables. That's the distinction here, because this comes with a 7-core CPU instead of an 8-core CPU, which gives us different benchmark scores. As you can see, the benchmarks are still higher than the Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition, but compared to, say, the Galaxy S25, which has an 8 Elite made for Snapdragon, it is much lower scores just in comparison for your Geekbench single-core scores and Geekbench GPU scores. So this means it's a faster chip, but not what we'll find with today's flagship devices. That being said, what about gaming performance? Let's take a look at it quickly. Now, we do have, of course, the fact that games like Call of Duty Mobile will play pretty well on them. The one thing I did notice while playing on the Oppo Find N5 is that it got a little bit warmer, faster than I would experience with something like the Z Fold Special Edition. And I think it's just because of the size and how thin it is. Nothing too bad, nothing terrible, it just felt warmer. So if you're playing more intensive games, you might see that there. And if you guys want to see a full gaming video on this 7-core processor, I will do that for you. Let me know, and I will give you some benchmarks and some full data on what we have for a chipset like this. Now, the final thing I want to talk about, of course, is audio. We have 2 bottom firing style speakers on both devices because they're foldables and we can do that. So how well do they sound? And of course, we play our copyright-free music. To me, I think the Galaxy just sounded richer and fuller there compared to the Oppo Find N5. Maybe because of the size, we've got smaller speakers, but that's what you have, and I think the speakers there sound better on the Galaxy. Now, how would I frame this at the end? I really like what Oppo has done with the Find N5, and I think this is a super delightful scene to see. A super thin device. It feels like a smartphone. It's not a foldable, it's a smartphone. It feels like a smartphone in my hands. I can use it as a smartphone, and also is a large portable tablet. And this puts everybody else to shame, including Samsung, who is the market leader in foldables. So hopefully this will push them to give us something truly impressive for the Galaxy Z Fold 7. But right now, I think Oppo has the edge in terms of just size, in terms of the battery life, although the Galaxy did perform really well in things like the speakers and also the display, which I didn't talk too much about, but I felt the Galaxy display just looked much better. It was definitely brighter. And again, Samsung makes a lot of displays as well, so we can expect that. To me, I like what the Oppo Find N5 brings to the table, and I really want to see more from that in the future. So if you guys have any questions or any comments about this devices, do you think the Oppo one, or do you think somehow the Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition also took the crown here? Let me know. Otherwise, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and always enjoy your entertainment.